Hello everybody, it's Claire here with another how to make. It's a quick and easy little smash book or postcard book or handbag album, whatever you want to call it. Just made out of card, nothing complicated, and it's a great little album to use up those smaller pieces of paper. 6x6s work really well to decorate it, or you can cut your 12x12s up and cover more than one page. So it's just got 5 little pages. You could add as many as you like, but mine's got 5 pages, all with a border, and they are just the right size to be able to put just a photo under each of these little border areas. And then at the back, there's one there as well. It's got a little fold-up end, and I've put mine together using magnets, but you could put whatever closure on it you like. And then this side, it's all tied together, so it's really simple to put together. I've used the new Midnight Masquerade papers from Graphic 45 on the cover, just a couple of the little masks cut out and an invitation cut out, little tab. There are 2 magnets under here, and then I've used the border paper to create the borders through each of the pages, and one of the teal papers from the patterns and solids that go with the collection, and then I've used an Eerie Tail patterns and solids for the oranges and purples. They all work really well with the Midnight Masquerade collection, so I thought I'd use the colours up, and I didn't want to cut into the papers. I still do that, even though I work with them all the time. When they came, I just thought they were too gorgeous to cut up, so I had a bit of a moment, and then I cut up 2 pieces. That was it. So it's just black on the back. So this is how to make this lovely little book. The first thing you need is, you're going to use 7 pieces of card. Now my card I cut to 11.5 by 5 inches. So you cut 5 of your pieces to 11.5 by 5 inches and keep 2 to one side. And then you score those 5 pieces at 8 inches and fold, 9 inches and fold, and 10 inches and fold. And that gives you a sort of support to go on the spine side. So when you fold them all up, concertina them up, you get that at the end of your page. And when you put all 5 together, you've got quite a nice sturdy spine side. And then you want to make yourself, just from an offcut of paper, a little guide. Let's just grab mine. That's the same width as your page, 5 inches, and has got 2 holes in. You decide where you want your holes to go, and you put your guide over that concertinaed end of your page and use a hole punch to, let's leave the ribbon behind, just punch your holes through each of those pages. I think you could probably add up to about 8 pages with the size of scores on the cover. So you get that, and then they all concertina one over the other with all of their ends sitting on top of each other. Mine have all got sandwiched like that. Now if you wanted to stick those together, you could use double-sided tape just on the top of each section to stick them together, or you can just thread them through the ribbons when we come to put the album together. So that's the pages, really simple. So pop those to one side, and then take your 6th piece of cardstock, and you're going to score it at, from one end, well, you're going to cut it first. It's 11.5 inches long by 5.25 inches wide, and then you're going to score it at 1 3/4. So we're going from this end, score at 1 3/4, 2 1/4, 10 1/4, and 10 3/4, and then fold up those score lines and give them a nice crease. That's the base of your cover. And the last piece for your cover, you want to cut one at 5 1/4 by 7 3/4, and just score it at 1 inch in from one 5 1/4 edge. And then on your cover, you put tape along that 1/2 inch edge and stick your second cover piece over the top. So let's do that. Just use double-sided tape to do that. Let's remove the backings. Can we do it really quickly? No, I think the battery's going to run out on the camera. And then you want to take your lid piece, or your top cover piece, and with the score line to the left, you want to line it up and stick it over this tab with the tape on. It's easier if you lay it down flat, and line up your top and bottom edges and stick it down, press it down nice and firmly, and then just make sure that it does line up nice and straight with the rest of your album cover. And then you want to take your little paper guide and centre it over the top of your album cover, that section that is scored. It's just slightly too short, so centre it so that you've got an equal amount of black showing, or whatever colour cardstock you're using, showing at either end. Take your crocodile and just repunch those holes. Let's do this one in the top. And then you also want to do that on the underside as well. So the other side of your 1/2 inch spine section. So take your guide again, centre it up, lining it up with the fold line, with that equal distance of card showing at either end, and repunch. If you find it easier to draw those circles in with a pencil and then repunch them, do that. So now you've got your holes through your covers and your holes through your pages. So the next thing to do is to take your length of ribbon and scissors, poke it through the top. So you want to come from the top side of your cover, and then through each of your pages. Oops. Obviously this is easier if you've stuck all your pages together. And I'm having the concertina section on the top of each of my pages. It doesn't take too long to poke your ribbon through. So I've used 1 inch wide ribbon. So 25 mil, no, not mil, 25 millimetres, yeah, not millilitres. I'm really sorry, I've got the most dreadful cold and seriously no voice really. Well, it's a bit hit and miss at the moment. Okay, and then you want to take your ribbon through that bottom or back of your album, pull it through, leave yourself a nice piece on the front to tie a bow, and then you're going to come back through the second hole on the back of your album with your scissors, and then up through each of those holes on each of your pages. So just sort of straighten your ribbon on the back. And then back through your pages and their concertinaed fronts. It's all a bit all over the place at the moment, but it will straighten itself up. And apologies if I'm looking really caggy-handed. Last one. So pull the ribbon through and then take it through your cover, back onto the top. Straighten everything up, bring your flap up and over the top, and then tie your ribbon in a really nice bow on the front. Keep it tight to hold everything together. And then trim off. Just trim off that end with a nice sharp pair of scissors. Mine are so not sharp. Maybe I'll come back and trim that in a minute. And that is it, the little smash book. And then you can start to decorate it. So if you want to carry on and decorate your little album, the first thing to do is to cut your papers for the cover, outside and the back, and you cut strips across your 12 by 12 paper at 5 1/8 deep, and then cut them into sections. So one of them you cut into 8 inches long, that's for the back, or 7 7/8 if you want it to just sit inside the black edge. Cut one piece 7/8 wide by 5 1/8 deep, a piece for the front that is 6 3/8 wide by your 5 1/8, and then 2 3/8 of an inch wide pieces for your end sections. And then choose the decoration that you're going to add to your front. I've gone with the Off to the Races papers here, and just picked out the B-sides really, the orange, the brown and the green, and created from some of the cutouts a nice frame with a picture on and just the word friend. So that's going to be my cover. And then I decided that I wanted to have a magnet closure. So I've got a little strip here, which is an inch wide, sitting on a piece of black card. And there's a magnet under here and a magnet in the tab as well. The tab goes that way. And that's going to sit on the edge of my book. So I've prepped that before I've started. And now we're going to stick everything onto our book. So the first thing to do is just undo your ribbons. I'm so sorry about my voice, it's just going again. And stick this little narrow 7/8 of an inch piece on the front. I've inked my edges already, so I'm just going to use my tacky glue, hopefully it comes out, and cover the paper. Stick the piece in place. Let's just get rid of the glue off my finger. I'll move the pieces out of the way actually. Let's just move these to the side and then I can come into the middle. And I'm going to just flip open the book. I've already prepped all the pages so they're all sitting in there waiting to be stuck on. So I'm just going to flip this over and stick this piece in place. You don't need one for the underside because the ribbon tie holds everything closed. Let's just make sure that that's nicely stuck down. And then let's flip back over. You want to re-punch your holes. So let's get the hole punch. And re-punch the holes. And then you can thread your ribbon back through. I still haven't found my scissors. I don't know where they've gone. How can you lose scissors? Well, we know we can lose things very easily. So that's ready to tie up again. But before we do that, let's stick the papers onto the cover here. So that's your 6 3/8 piece. If you want to, you can use double-sided tape, of course, to stick your pieces in place. But I'm just going to use just a little bit of tacky glue, not too much. I don't want the cover of the book to ruckle up. Smooth it out and stick it down. Line it up. Of course, you could do this before you assemble your book completely, and then of course you can work on a flat surface. I'm just going to open my book out again, hold all these pieces in place, flip over, and then I can press down. So really making sure that all of those edges are stuck down nicely. And then while we're on this side, I've got the 8-inch piece, or 7 7/8 piece, to go on the back. Now you could do the same, you could undo your ribbons and thread your ribbon through the outside, or you can cover that up completely. I'm going to cover up completely, so I'm going to use some double-sided tape because I want the tape to sit right over the ribbon. In fact, I'm going to tape it down with a couple of strips. Now it's pulling up. Let's get the scissoroonies, and then one over the other side. And then that'll hold that down nice and flat, and it means that the ribbon doesn't come out. And then I might as well carry on with the tape and tape around the edges of the paper. So do this with yours. Oops. Well, no, now we've got stuck to the... like a calamity waiting to happen here today, thanks to Oliver and his man cold that I've caught. Strip down the middle. Sorry if I've gone off the camera. And then one down the end. And then take all of your backings off. If you're wondering where they're going, just move forwards. I'm wearing them. I just do that and it comes off straight away, and you're not faffing around trying to get rid of the tape backings that never seem to want to go. Let's get the scissoroonies. Let's take those off. And it might help you to stand up. I'm going to stand up, and then I can see exactly where I want to place this on the one side before I stick it down. Lovely, now that will stick nice and flat. So while we're here, we might as well do the end. Let's push those back in. So we've got a little piece to go on here. That one can go on with glue or tape, depending on what you're using. And And then the last piece for the flap. Now, I went for brown on the outside just to coordinate all of the colours, but the piece is 1 5/8 wide by 5 1/8 deep if you want to cut the same paper as you've got on the rest of your cover. Press it down nice and firmly, and then just hold everything in, flip over. So my little book will close like that, and then it's going to close with the top section over the bottom. So I'm going to pop the picture on next, and I'm going to do that with tape, just so that it keeps it nice and flat. I've used a piece of green paper on this, an ephemera card that I've cut the centre of the frame out from, and then I've used a cutout, a 3x4 cutout, which was the brown frame, and then I cut a lady out and threaded her through the frame. I cut the centre oval out of the frame and just built up the whole of the picture. So it's sitting on black card, that's the frame, that's the backing paper, that's the frame, smaller frame, and that's the lady that's threaded through the oval that I've cut out, and then the little friend banner is mounted on some black card as well. So it's amazing what you can find when you look through all of these paper collections. They've got so many elements in them, whether you like vintage styles or grunge styles, or you can really, or cartoony styles, you can really find some fabulous elements to create your covers. So I'm going to stick that on like that. And then, before I stick the tab on, I'm going to stick this panel down so that I know where the magnet needs to sit. So it's sort of going to come, where is it going to sit? Right at the edge. So I'm going to do that. There's the magnet. That's the second magnet. That's a spare magnet. So just double-sided tape on there. I want the magnet to be on the outside edge, so I'm just watching where I'm going to stick it. Oh. On the outside edge. Just open that, and I'm going to centre it. I'm going to follow that line of circles and stick it down like that. And then I can come back in with my tab that's got a magnet in between. There's two black tabs, and in between there is a magnet. But I haven't stuck these bottom edges, so I'm just going to put some glue in here now. Maybe not. Oh dear. Let's do it again. Should be all right. And then, if I let the magnet attach there, I can just bring the two together. I don't want to. So straighten the book out. So actually the tab is going to sit right up against the black edge here. So I can lift that off and just press it down. Give it a good pinch, just to allow the glue to take. Pinch on the other side as well. And then let's just check that it closes. So the top needs to go flat, bow needs to tie up, and it just catches on the side here. Keeps the cover nice and closed. So let's tie the little book up again. I've decided I might put something on the end of the ribbons, which is sort of my signature, where I'm using ribbons. And I'm going to pull them so that the loops sit going that way. So pretty little cover, quite easy to decorate. And then we can flip over and start to decorate the inside. I'm just pressing that tab down nice and firmly. So I've already prepped my papers for the inside. The sizes are 5 1/8 by 6 inches for your base paper for the inside cover, front and back, and 5 1/8 by 1 3/4 for your pocket section. And then for your pages, 4 7/8 by 6 for your main page, and then 1 3/4 wide by 4 7/8 for your black card and your paper. And they get stuck on in pairs, or you can alternate them however you want to put them. So really simple to put together. I'm going to put some music on while I put all of this together, because you don't want to sit and watch me sticking pieces of paper down. But you'll see how the album comes together. So have fun watching it and have fun making yours. And I'll be back in a minute with a finished album. And after all that sticking, here's the little album all finished. I've added some half circles, 1 inch half circles on the end of the ribbons, and 3/4 inch half circles in the orange, just to match the tab. and put a few blingy bits on the front, and that's it. It's ready just to hold your photos. So have fun if you make one yourself, and thanks for watching. Don't forget to give me the thumbs up if you've enjoyed the video, and subscribe to my channel to be kept up to date with new projects as they come out. Thanks for watching.